In the early 1970s, a new band from New York arrived on the music scene that would change the face of rock and roll. Literally.
Out on the street for a living. Pictures on the
A cab driver became a star child, a guy that auditioned wearing mismatched sneakers became a spaceman from the planet Jandel, a guy from a street gang became a catman, and a substitute teacher became a blood-spitting demon. The rest is KISStory. From day one, Kiss's stage show was captivating to say the least. With their makeup and flamboyant costumes mixed with smoke bombs, dry ice, and fire breathing, it was quite the spectacle. After seeing one of their shows, Neil Bogart signed the group as the first act on Casablanca Records. Their first two releases weren't well received despite the reputation that they were building on tour. While writing material for their third album, Neil Bogart told the band that he was looking for a radio-friendly hit. Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley responded with Rock and Roll All Night, the quintessential rock and roll anthem. The song peaked at number 68 on the Billboard chart. It obviously wasn't working for the band in studio, so they decided to release a live album called Alive. They captured the magic from their live show, and that's when it exploded. Their follow-up album, Destroyer, gave them their biggest hit. The B-side to Detroit Rock City, a love ballad penned by Peter Criss called Beth.
Beth, I hear you calling.
Before 1976 was over, another album was released. Rock and Roll Over shipped platinum, and it produced more Kiss staples, but nothing that made a mark on the charts, despite the fact that in 1977, Kiss was the most popular band in the U.S. with school kids and teens, according to a Gallup poll.
They call me.
77 also included the release of another album, as well as a Marvel comic book released on the same day that included blood drawn from the members of the band in the red ink. Armed with 3 more albums of material, they recorded yet another live album, Alive 2. This album also contained 5 studio tracks. Lead guitarist Ace Frehley was present for the recording of only one of these tracks. 1978 saw the band film a made-for-TV movie and at the height of their popularity split to make solo albums. The Spaceman's album sold the best. Paul stayed the truest to Kiss style. Gene's was a star-studded endeavor, including Cher and Donna Summer, that saw him record When You Wish Upon a Star.
No difference who you are.
Peter Criss's more jazz-influenced album sold the least.
'Cause I was tossing and turning.
This may have been part of the reason Peter was only present on one track on 1979's Dynasty. Dynasty also saw a change in musical style that sent listeners for a loop.
Disco's so big right now, I wouldn't be surprised if Kiss did a disco song. What? Yeah.
Man, if it's one thing Kiss will never do, the bullshit disco song.
Disco blows stars for quarters, man.
I was made for loving you, baby. You were made for loving me.
Kiss's new disco sound followed them into the beginning of a new decade with the release of Unmasked, the first album to not go platinum in the US since their first release. As if that wasn't enough, Peter Criss decided to leave the band.
Can't stop the rain.
The first album for newly recruited drummer Eric Carr was the concept album Music from the Elder. That's when Ace followed Peter's lead and left the band in need of a lead guitarist. Although he appears on the album cover for Creatures of the Night, the guitars on the album were done by session guitarists including Bob Kulick and Vincent Cusano. By the time they went on tour, Cusano changed his name to Vinnie Vincent and took on the visage of an Egyptian ink. He wasn't wearing the makeup for long though, because the 2 original members of the band decided they needed a new face for the 80s.